Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Positive Brainwashing Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Mornay. I'm your favorite Haitian American and autism mom. Today, we're going to do a quick one. Let's talk about medical gaslighting. The past 3 episodes of the podcast has focused on episode 50, perimenopause, episode 51, menopause, and episode 52, postmenopause. And while doing the research and watching the deep dive, the documentary, now streaming on Apple TV, and of course available for purchase on Prime Video, and it is worth it for the education. Co-executive produced by Jeannie, my Emmy award-winning talk show host of The Real, and of course Alyssa Milano. Y'all know her from Charm. The doc is called Balance: A Perimenopause Journey. It's about 2 months who go in search of just researching because they're having these symptoms, and they both find out they're in perimenopause. One of them takes the natural route, and one of them takes the route of Western medicine. It is so worth it. It's a 4-part docu-series. You guys should definitely watch it. And while doing that research, and of course doing these pod episodes for you guys, I came across the term medical gaslighting. I've heard of it before. I've watched an episode of the Tamron Hall Show of discussing it, and I thought it was important to make you guys aware of what medical gaslighting is. Today, our article is going to be from the Harvard from the Harvard School of Health. So let's get right into it. What to do about medical gaslighting? If you feel your doctor is dismissing your health concerns, you may be experiencing medical gaslighting. This article was written on April 1st, 2024 by Heidi Godwin, who is a managing director. Let's get right into it. The term gaslighting is usually applied to personal relationships when a partner's manipulation causes you to doubt your mental capacity, ideas, and feelings. But in recent years, gaslighting has been recognized in medical settings too. Medical gaslighting describes when when healthcare professionals seem to invalidate or ignore your concerns. It can be linked to missed diagnosis, delayed treatment, and poor health outcomes. It might damage your trust in the healthcare system and make you less likely to seek care. Let's talk about the potential causes. Why does gaslighting occur? It can be unintentional. The healthcare provider might have poor communication skill or have limited time to speak with a patient, or not be medically knowledgeable enough to know what to do, says Dr. Jonathan M. Marin, a physician and director of clinical ethics at the Harvard Medical School Center for Bioethics. Medical gaslighting might also stem from having an illness that isn't well understood, such as long COVID. Gaslighting might also occur when someone has a disorder that doesn't have straightforward tests for diagnosis, says Dr. Moran says. And it is possible that if the doctor is puzzled by a person's symptoms and is bothered by that, the doctor might react by saying the person's symptoms are unimportant, reflecting their own uncertainty and uncertainty. So when I was first becoming a medical assistant, a patient asked a question, and I told the patient I don't know. And so I was taught by the doctors, never tell a patient you don't know. We want them to trust them. Then we want the patients to trust us, and we don't want them to be uncertain. So if they ask a question you don't know, tell them you will find an answer, or you'll do more research on that. Never leave the patient feeling uncertain. And I really carried that with me throughout my medical career. And unfortunately, medical gaslighting also can result from conscious and unconscious bias. We know there is a significant amount of unconscious bias in the practice of medicine. Studies show that those from marginalized groups, especially women and people of color, are more likely to have their concerns or questions not taken seriously, which can be associated with worse health outcomes, Dr. Moran says. How to avoiding medical gaslighting. Let's talk about that. To avoid medical gaslighting, Dr. Moran advises going to an appointment prepared as possible. Consider bringing a journal tracking your symptoms, the symptoms you've been having, a brief and precise expression of your medical concerns, a short list of your questions for the clinician, a buddy who can support you. Take notes and observe your interaction with the clinician. At the start of the appointment, tell the clinician you have a short list of questions you'd like to ask, and at the end of the appointment, note that there may not be time. There may not be time for all of your questions. If you don't know what to ask, you could say, if you were in my shoes, what should I be asking you right now? Don't leave without understanding the big picture plan and the next steps, Dr. Moran says. All right. Tips to spot medical gaslighting. Sometimes it's hard to catch medical gaslighting as it's happening, especially if the physician's behavior is subtle. If you are feeling sick or stressed, red flags can include a healthcare provider who first doesn't listen or interprets you, diminishes your symptoms, blames your symptoms on your age, gender, weight, lifestyle, or sexual orientation, says your symptoms probably are due to anxiety, depression, or rushes you through the appointment. This is all important because I got the idea to do this episode because in terms of like women's health, discussing perimenopause, menopause, and of course postmenopause, a lot of women, the common complaint, especially from women of color, is that they don't feel heard. The doctor ignores their symptoms, or they automatically, especially in episode 4, we talk about how women have, actually episode 3 of the doc, how, the lack of hormones, estrogen and progesterone, declining during perimenopause and menopause can cause issues with mental health. And the doctors always, they're first to think, let's treat depression, let's treat anxiety, instead of saying, this may be a woman of a woman of a certain age. Let's treat her hormones, because our hormones do affect our mental health and how our brain is able to process emotions. Okay. Let's continue. A classic example is a 70-year-old woman who is worried about having more than usual body aches and low energy, whose clinician says that it's probably just aging without ordering any tests. All right, let's confronting gaslighting. Dr. Moran says one challenge of medical gaslighting is that most clinicians probably don't feel they do it. This makes for tricky ground if you perceive that you're being gaslighted. How can you cope in the moment? First, you take a step back. Maybe there's a misunderstanding between you and your clinician. It's okay to stay and then reframe your question or request, and see if that garners a different response. Dr. Moran advises, ask your buddy for support. Perhaps your friend can advocate for you and lend credibility to what you're saying, or asking the clinician. Prepare for some discord. If your appointment seems to be going south, it's okay to note your concerns. Calling out gaslighting is responsible, but understand that it may not be the most comfortable conversation. Some clinicians might feel they're being attacked. Be clear, it's not your intent, Dr. Moran says. Get a different clinician. If your clinician can't reach a resolution, it might be a good idea to move on. You deserve better treatment. Everyone has the right to change clinicians or get a second opinion, Dr. Moran says. The more you and your family members are aware of it and feel empowered, the less likely it will have a negative impact on you. And this concludes this very short but effective article about medical gaslighting. I hope you guys are able or understand what medical gaslighting is. If you feel that your doctor doesn't take your symptoms seriously, go check with another doctor or reframe your questions. Always bring someone with you to advocate for you, especially if you're a woman of color and you feel that you are ignored. My suggestion would always be to find a doctor that is your color. As for me, for example, my therapist is a Black woman. My doctor is not necessarily a Black woman. She's a white woman, but she's a woman nonetheless, right? We have that in common. For some of you who don't know, I have been a victim of sexual assault twice actually in high school. And so because of that, I prefer all my staff to be female staff. For example, when I was giving birth to my son, I specifically requested female nursing staff and my OBGYN to be a woman. I want all female staff at all times. Understand, most of my job as someone who studies public health, who has my associates in health science, is patient advocacy. That's something I'm very, very passionate about. Please stand up for yourself. And if you can't do it, please bring a friend to advocate for you. And, if you are blessed enough to have a friend in your life in the medical field like me, don't, hesitate to reach out and ask questions. One thing I will advise you, though, as someone who's been in the medical field for a few years, is that don't get paranoid. I promise you, Dr. Google is not here to help you. Don't get paranoid and start, Googling your symptoms. I know some people are a bit of are hypochondriacs, which is basically someone who has like irrational fears of feeling unhealthy. It's like a form of OCD. Like you always think that you're sick, right? But you, in reality, you're not. And people like that like to frequent the hospital and you think something's going on. No, It's not. It's all in your mind. So I want to tell you, right? If you're feeling, always listen to your body. If you're feeling something, go see the doctor. And if you're not feeling heard, switch doctors. Also, if you're not feeling heard, don't be so quick to switch doctors until, you've tried everything that you can to talk to that doctor and get them to understand you, get them to, test your, to understand your symptoms, get them to do the proper test that you need so that you can get the help that you need. Also, with that being said, this concludes the episode, but let's talk about what's going on for the pod the next few days and into March. All right. So Friday, come back for another, it's going to be a quick one. I don't think we're going to go no more than 30 minutes, right? We're going to talk about another episode idea that I got after doing this doc. One of the risks that does happen with perimenopause and menopause because of the decline of estrogen levels in women is osteopenia, which is a form of like the bones, weakening, and then osteoporosis, which is a more advanced version, right? And so we're going to be doing an episode of osteopenia versus osteoporosis. So come in Friday for that. The following week, I think we're just going to break up the monotony a little bit. I've been educating you guys a lot, so I think it's time for a story time episode. We're going to, next Wednesday, we're going to discuss, toxic workplaces. Cause I have so many stories to share in terms of like toxic workplaces, workplace trauma. Yes, you can be traumatized in the workplace. I didn't know that until it happened to me. And so we're going to discuss that. I'm going to probably give you like a quick few bullet points on how to spot a toxic work environment, how to remove yourself from that environment, and how to find a healthy work environment for you, right? And then I'll do a story time. That's it for the schedule right now, but we are also going to go back and continue our series on autoimmune diseases. So we'll do a bonus episode the following Friday about, I want to talk about lupus, and then we'll also discuss, the following Wednesday, we're going to discuss fibromyalgia, and that'll be it for now and then we're going to end out with alopecia, which if you guys have seen the Netflix documentary, Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, there was a model. Well, she wasn't featured in that documentary. She was featured in the documentary on Vice, The Dark Side of Reality TV, episode 10. Now streaming, I should check it out. It was about this model. Her name is Gina, who had alopecia, and alopecia is an autoimmune disease. So I want to end our series on autoimmune disease, definitely talking about alopecia in honor of that model. And I'm not saying that because she's passed away. I understand, the misconception if I say in honor of somebody, but, just to credit her, the episode idea was, I was inspired by her story. This model was bald, and, she really gained her confidence, in being a model with alopecia. She was beautiful, and I believe she's of Asian descent. So I definitely want to talk about that. And then, we're going to go from there, guys. Don't forget the podcast is available audio and video on YouTube and Spotify. I'm also available audio only on Amazon Music, Audible. Don't forget on Apple Podcasts to please rate and review. I'm also available recently on iHeartRadio, audio only, and of course audio only on Pandora. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at the Positive Brainwashing Podcast. Don't forget to follow my personal page for all things movie, TV. For all things movie, TV. I also do renewal updates, cancellation updates, cast updates, podcast recommendations. I also do music, books, and that includes audiobooks because I love all the things. And to me, I'm Andu Mornay. Of course, I'm all the things. I'm your destination for all things entertainment. I think that umbrella term is better so that you guys know, if you're looking for something to watch, you're looking for something to read, you're looking for music to listen to, you're looking for a new podcast to check out, I got you. So follow me at AC Do Morning on Instagram and on TikTok. That is ACDUMORNAY. Follow me on Facebook. I know for you old heads, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and follow me. That's Andu Mornay on Facebook. That's ANNEDUMORNAY. And yes, that is my maiden name. I don't plan on getting married. My real name. It's on my ID, my birth certificate, all of it. So follow me on Facebook. What else do I have to say? If you have any questions, you have any concerns, go ahead and email me at the Positive Brainwashing Pod. I also would like to do like a live premiere episode where I will watch with you guys. You can ask me any questions. So email me, y'all. The podcast is going to be celebrating its year anniversary in May. I want y'all to email me, and I have ideas for guests, all types of stuff coming up. This concludes the updates. This is the end of the episode. I'll see you guys back here on Friday, where we are going to discuss osteopenia and osteoporosis, which is a risk factor and complication that happens in women in perimenopause and menopause. And yeah, it can also happen in postmenopausal women. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Andrew Mornay. I'm your host. I'm your favorite Haitian American and autism mom. And take care of yourselves and each other. Also, the last thing I wanted to say, we always start the podcast doing self-care. What did I do for self-care this week? I'm going to share this quickly with you guys, and I will let you go, I promise. This week, last Thursday, actually, I went to go see my doctor, and my blood sugar levels are doing really well. My A1C was 5.9. And for those of you who don't know, you want your A1C to be between a 5 and a 7. And so I am doing great in that term. My blood pressure was also great. I believe it was a 125/79. Blood pressure is doing great. I'm taking all my meds. I'm going to the doctor regularly. Now I have to focus on, getting back in the gym, which I will be back in the gym next week. It's going to be March. I'm so excited to get back on the gym. I love doing my Zumba. I love doing, weight training and, of course, the bikes, cycling. So I'm excited to get back in the gym. What else is going on with me? Yeah, health is good. I encourage you guys to see your doctor for your regular visits. I also recently seen my dentist to get a cleaning. Take care of yourself, especially for diabetics. Oral health is so important. Again, I'm your host, Andrew Mornay, your favorite Haitian American and autism mom, and I'll see you guys back here on Friday when we're going to discuss osteopenia and osteoporosis. Take care, y'all. Peace.